You are walking down a busy street. Someone collapses 20 feet ahead of you. Dozens of people are around. And here is the strange part. The more people who see it happen, the less likely any single one of them is to help. That sounds backwards. It is not. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what it evolved to do. In March of 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building in Queens, New York. The attack lasted over half an hour. Multiple neighbors later said they heard something. Almost no one called for help in time. The story spread across the country. Newspapers framed it as proof that cities were turning people cold, that modern life was making everyone indifferent to suffering. Two psychologists disagreed with that explanation. Their names were John Darley and Bib Latane. They believed something else was happening. Not coldness. Not indifference. Something built into how groups of humans process danger. So they built an experiment. Participants sat alone in a room, believing they were part of a discussion over an intercom with other people in separate rooms. During the conversation, one voice would start having what sounded like a seizure, gasping for help. Some participants believed they were the only one who could hear this. Others believed several people could hear it. Here is what Darley and Latane found. When a participant believed they were the only listener, nearly all of them rushed to help almost immediately. When participants believed 4 or 5 others could also hear the emergency, the response rate dropped sharply. Many did not act at all. Some sat in visible distress, sweated, hands shaking, and still did not move. They called this diffusion of responsibility. When more people are present, each individual feels less personally obligated to act. The weight of the emergency gets split, and when weight gets split enough times, it can shrink to almost nothing for any one person. But why would evolution build a brain that works this way? Why would helping behavior depend on how many other people are standing nearby? Think about your ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago, living in small mobile groups. A group might number 20, 30, maybe 50 people. Everyone knew everyone. If someone screamed, there was no crowd to hide inside. There were only a few faces, and every one of them was watching every other one. Responsibility could not diffuse because there was nowhere for it to diffuse into. Anthropologists studying small-scale societies, including work by Sarah Blaffer HRD on cooperative caregiving in early human groups, describe a very different social environment from the one you live in now. In these small bands, helping was not optional and it was not anonymous. Everyone's actions were visible to everyone else, constantly. Reputation was survival currency. If you ignored someone in danger, the entire group knew by nightfall, and the cost of that reputation damage could follow you for the rest of your life. Your brain evolved inside that world, a world of maybe 50 faces, not a world of 50,000 strangers on a subway platform. Here is the twist. The exact same evolved instinct that made your ancestors quick to help inside a small tribe is what makes you slower to help inside a crowd today. It is not a flaw. It is a mismatch. Your brain is running ancient software on a modern operating system it was never designed for. Consider what a crowd actually signals to your nervous system. Multiple witnesses, multiple potential helpers, multiple people who could take responsibility instead of you. Your mind performs a kind of unconscious calculation, and it is doing this in a fraction of a second, long before conscious thought catches up. If nobody else is reacting, part of your brain concludes that maybe this is not actually an emergency. Maybe it is normal. Maybe someone already called for help. This is sometimes called pluralistic ignorance, and it means that a room full of concerned people can each look calm on the outside while looking to each other for a cue, and collectively produce total stillness. Psychologist Stanley Milgram, most famous for his obedience experiments, also studied how people in cities process the sheer volume of stimulation around them. His concept of stimulus overload suggested something important. Urban environments bombard the brain with far more social information than a small ancestral band ever did. To function at all, your mind has to filter aggressively. Somebody stumbling on a sidewalk. Somebody sitting very still on a bench. A raised voice down the block. Your brain, overloaded with input, has learned to treat most of these as background noise. Otherwise, you could not walk 2 blocks without becoming paralyzed by every small disturbance around you. So the crowd does 2 things at once. It diffuses responsibility, and it floods your senses until true emergencies start to look like background noise. Does this mean people are simply worse now than they used to be? The data says no. In fact, replications of the bystander studies across decades, including reviews by researchers such as Peter Fisher, found the effect is remarkably consistent across cultures and generations. This is not a modern character flaw. It is a stable, predictable feature of human psychology, present wherever crowds exist. And once you know the mechanism, you can beat it. Darley and Latin's research revealed something almost as important as the problem itself. A single clear signal can break the diffusion instantly. If one bystander points at a specific person and says, "Duh, in the red jacket, call an ambulance now," that individual almost always responds immediately. The anonymity collapses. Responsibility, which had been smeared across a crowd of strangers, suddenly lands on one specific person, the same way it would have landed inside a tiny ancestral band of 50. The crowd, for that person, briefly becomes a tribe again. This single insight is now taught in CPR courses, workplace safety training, and emergency response programs worldwide. Do not shout for somebody to help. Point at one person. Name a feature of their clothing. Give them a direct task. You are not fighting human nature. You are working with it, giving your ancient brain the one thing it actually understands: direct personal responsibility, instead of the diffuse fog of a crowd. Think about how often this instinct shapes your life in ways you never labeled. The email you assume someone else on the team will answer. The group project where everyone quietly waits for someone else to start. The unread message in a group chat that 50 people have seen and nobody has replied to. None of these are moral failures. They are the same diffusion, running quietly in the background of ordinary days, not just emergencies. Your ancestors never lived inside a group of 50,000. They lived inside a group where every face mattered and every action was witnessed by people who would remember it forever. Your brain still expects that world. It still calculates responsibility as if you were standing in a circle of 30 people around a fire, not scrolling past a crowd of strangers or standing in a hallway of coworkers. So the next time you are in a group and something goes wrong and everyone seems frozen, remember what is actually happening beneath the surface. It is not that the people around you do not care. It is that thousands of years of small tribal life taught every one of their brains, and yours, that someone else will probably step in first. Knowing that changes what you do next. You do not wait to see if the crowd moves. You become the one clear voice that breaks the fog, the one who points, the one who names a person and gives them a task, because you now understand something almost nobody else in that crowd has ever been told. The silence is not indifference. It is a very old signal, misfiring in a very new world, and it only takes one person who understands it to switch it back off. You are walking down a busy street. Someone collapses 20 feet ahead of you. This time, you already know what to do.